just relax. Don't think of this as just this interview type thing. We're talking about something that's real, that really needs to be talked about. Hello everyone, I am back. It is your girl Ori, or Story by Ori, here with another episode of Story Time. Today we're starting something different. I have a series that I'm gonna be entitling Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. When I say that, I'm referring to anyone who is scared to step out on faith, anyone who isn't listening to God, but we're part of the Christian background. So with that being said, I am featuring people who I consider non-wimpy Christian, people who are excelling in their careers, people who are really going after what God has told them to do. And my first guest of this series is none other than Miss Megan Hamm. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Hey, how's everybody doing?
That's awesome. So y'all, we're gonna have to let her be a little comfortable. I told Miss Megan that we are only having a conversation. Just picture you and me. When people view this, they're going to be coming, they're going to be supporting and things of that nature. But right now, it's just you and I. So I am honored, first of all, to have you on the show today to talk about your background and a little bit of your story. So for those who don't know, tell everyone a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm Megan Hamm. I am from Brookhaven, Mississippi, but I am a licensed professional counselor, a board qualified supervisor, and a registered play therapist here in Mississippi. Brookhaven, Mississippi. And so within the last 6 months, I have stepped out on faith and started my own private practice here in Brookhaven, 332 East Monticello Street, across the street from Brookhaven High School.
First of all, whoop, whoop.
Thank you.
And I loved how you said, I have stepped out on faith.
Uh-huh.
That is what this episode is about. I want to encourage those watching about how to really discern what God is telling them to do and what to do after God tells them whatever. Mm-hmm. So for you, you mentioned the term stepped out on faith. So that means you heard God, mm-hmm. you responded by stepping out with your own private practice. But let's backtrack to how that even started with that journey.
Well, I've been in the field for about 12 years, mm-hmm. in the behavioral health field. And one day I was on my way to work and there was somebody on the radio and they said that you were spending 9 to 5 making somebody else's dream come true and you could be spending that time making your own dream come true. Mm-hmm. And so that was just something that I was like, oh, okay, it was a good point to make it. It kind of stuck in the back of my head. And that had to be about 6 years ago.
Wow.
6 or 7 years ago. So I was working a job that I liked. I love my job. I had no issues with the job at the time. And so at that point I just started thinking about, if I did it, like what would that look like?
Happen?
If I stepped out or if I had my own private practice, would it be successful? Would I be able to do that here in Brookhaven? Mm-hmm. Different things like that. And so it was just one of those things. On my desk at work, I had a notepad and it actually said today, tomorrow, and someday. Mm-hmm. And so I had wrote on the someday page and I was like, private practice. Randomly one day at work, and that's just what it was. So, and it just sat there.
Wow.
And so then different things had started happening. One day I was at work, and this was about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so, really, I think it was just one of those days. And so I heard something say, it's time for a change. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it on a notepad, on a post-it note, and it said, time for a change. And I put it on my computer. Mm-hmm. And so I put that on my computer, and that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And so I just kept getting those little nuggets of things. Mm-hmm. And so when I decided, okay, I think I'm really going to go for this private practice thing, step out on my own. And my biggest hurdle at that time was, is this Megan telling me to do this, or is this the voice of God saying, this is what I want you to do?
Yes.
And so I really struggled with that. So prayed about it, consulted with friends about it, people who I know are spiritual people, and just talked about the difference between, is it something I want to do, or is it something that God wants for me? Mm-hmm. And ultimately the decision came was, I felt like God doesn't want anything for me that's not going to help benefit me. Mm. And so me going into private practice my passion is to be able for people to have affordable and quality mental health services right here in Brookhaven without having to go to Jackson or Hattiesburg or Macomb to get the services. But then also having the options, because we do have other mental health services in Brookhaven. But being able to have the option to honestly see somebody that looks like you, providing a service that we need in our community. And so when I came to that realization for myself that it may not be exactly the way I want it to be, but as long as I stay focused on what my vision is for my business and what God wants for my life, then it's going to be successful.
One of the verses that came to my mind as you were talking, for I know the plans I have for you.
Yes.
So, and I love how, first of all, you mentioned a lot of things that goes into us discerning if it's God's voice or if it's ours. I love how you even evaluated yourself because it was something you wanted, but at the same time you're like, well, is God in this or is it just me, and things of that nature. And I just want to break it down for our audience because, like I said, the series is Don't Be a Wimpy Christian, and I just want to encourage you all not to be that. I want to encourage you all to continue to stay in your word, continue to listen and discern the voice of God, and know that when you know it's God, like Megan did, you're gonna be fine. That's the ultimate purpose of this. So just even going back, I heard a couple of things. First, I heard you prayed about it. You kept praying about it. And also, even backtracking to that, I heard that before you stepped out on anything, you kept writing down like the little things you were hearing. Like you stuck, that someday, you didn't even stress about it. You just wrote someday private practice and you went back to work. Okay, cool. A few years later, God gave you something else. Okay, let me write it on a post-it. Okay, cool. Then, I call it an inkling. And I don't even know if that's a word. I never looked it up. But I feel like an inkling is when you have a feeling to do something, like a hunch, but you don't really do it, but you acknowledge it. And I feel like as you were speaking, that's what God was giving you. Like your inklings were getting stronger. The more years that passed, you were getting stronger into what you were hearing God say. And it was continuous as well. That's another thing that I caught on to what you were saying as you were sharing your story. So when it got stronger, you started telling other people about it. I didn't hear you say 8 years ago you started telling people. And I want to pinpoint that because sometimes, and I have to work on this myself. Sometimes God will give us a vision that's only for us, and it's not time to share it. And if we do share it too prematurely, people won't get it, or they may discourage it, or they may put it down. And we have to really get in a safe space like you did to even know if it's worthy of being shared, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that. So fast forward 8 years, then you told somebody, and I'm pretty sure you told some people along the way, but you started like actually speaking it out more. And you put Christian in front of that. They were people of a godly background, people that were like-minded like you, so you trusted them. You knew that they weren't going to lead you astray. And what did they say?
And honestly, before I started telling people about me potentially going into private practice, people started coming and telling me.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I just one day was like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna do private practice. People were coming to me, and people who believed in me as a person, people who believed in me, spiritually, people I work with would come to me and say, like things like, if you ever had your own practice, I would come work for you. And these are other clinicians, other therapists, other people in the field. And, people will come to me and say things like, I think you can do this on your own. Like just, I hate to say random because, it wasn't random. At the time it seemed random. But those are the things that people were coming to tell me.
More and
so it was like just stuff that was like, I was like, okay. Even when I put my notice in to quit my job, and I hadn't told anybody that, I was going to start working on a private practice. Well, not anybody. It wasn't public knowledge, I would say, just my close friends and family. And the lady came up to me at work and she said, I'm going to see your name on the building in a few months, and I know it. And it was just, that's what people would say to me. And so that was the thing that, it was just keep pushing. And the thing I would say is that even with me during the time where I was trying to decide if it was me wanting to do it or something God was telling me to do, I encourage myself to just do it, you know, to just make the step to
Yeah.
start somewhere. And if it's not what God wants, if I continue to put God first in everything that I do, then He's going to show me that, okay, now Megan, now you're going to do your own thing. This ain't what I told you to do.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes He'll bring me back in and say, no, not yet. And I just have to be able to be willing to
be patient,
to modify it. And you know, and know that as of right now, I've only been in business for 6 months.
Okay.
But I have 2 different business cards.
Wow.
Because at one point I made a business card, and then I was like, no, that's not it. So now I have another business card, and you know, but I'm okay with if in 3 months God tells me something else, I have another business card, and so it's just that's where it is.
I needed this, Megan, because as someone who's starting out, I've changed a few things a couple of times, and I have actually 3 different business cards. I have one from college when I was just one and only Ori. It's only Ori that can do something as great as I'm doing it. So I got that, and I got I Am Media. That's what I used to refer to myself. Over almost 2 years ago, I used to refer to myself as that. I was like the neighborhood hood reporter, and now it's Stori Studios. Now all those visions are similar. But I feel like God is continuing to redefine it. But I felt the opposite. Like you mentioned that when God gave you something different, you just did it. It didn't really bother you to switch something up. It bothered me. Like I actually was looking at my 3 different business cards in the room yesterday or the day before, and I was like, dang, I done went on Vistaprint 3 different times. With 3 different emails for businesses that are really similar to each other. And I questioned myself. I was like, dang, am I being on course? And on my show, I'm super transparent with y'all, with my audience. I don't mind sharing my flaws. I've cried on an episode before. Like I just feel like we need more people to be honest with us. We need people to be more transparent. We need people to let their hair down a little bit with us, because nobody's perfect. And that's one of the things that I try to share with my audience and everyone that I interview. Be comfortable. Nobody's perfect. So this is a real truth that I was considering. I wasn't gonna mention it until you said that, but I was really thinking about like, wow, do I even need to be doing this because I'm switching things up? And then you fear like, are you gonna switch it up again? Now I can say that I feel very sure about where I'm at right now, and the only way I can go is up under the same name, unless God tells me to start a new business in a totally different fashion or field. But I just love, because sometimes God can send people your way to help you, and you don't even realize it. And I just want to let you know, you saying that line right there just made me feel so much better about me switching business cards.
But the thing about it is, it took me a while to get there, and I still sometimes will struggle with it when something happens that is not the plan that I had, you know. But I'm just really learning, and this is something I do in life, is just being able to be flexible, you know. And one of the things that I talk to, like as a therapist, when I talk to my clients, it's about, you know, I use the metaphor of, you know, like you're waiting in line for a ride, you know, and it's like you go to the park, to an amusement park, and you're waiting in line and you're so excited about it, but when that ride, you wait in line for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the ride only lasts for 5 or 10 minutes. But when that ride is over, you're not disappointed. You're not mad. You're not upset. You are excited. You know, you had that experience and it was awesome for you. And what do? We go get another line for another ride. You know, and sometimes that's how life has to be.
I love that roller coaster analogy. Like, that makes me think about that's how life is sometimes. So kind of share with me how your clients have responded to that analogy. Like, even me, I was like, you know what? My life has been like that at certain points of time.
Well, a lot of times people, when I'm talking to people, I use a lot of metaphors and analogies, because it helps you to relate stuff to where you are now, to what makes sense to you. Because sometimes if I'm talking to people about changing perspectives and the way you think is how you feel, like, people don't always get that. But if I tell them that if we just learn to be in the moment and enjoy that roller coaster ride, then people can take that away and say, okay, let me enjoy this while it happens. Because sometimes in life, the reality is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't. So if we learn to enjoy the moments that we have then we'll learn to enjoy what we have going on in the moment.
Another verse.
So,
worry about today because tomorrow got another trouble
true,
of its own.
It does.
So it's like your profession is literally highlighting the word. Like in a way. It's like highlighting in even Jesus in some of the stories in the Bible, he used metaphors. He break it down to a sense of where people of any type of background can understand it. So it's refreshing to hear that you do the same thing professionally and things of that nature. So speaking of the profession, we talked off camera. A lot of people, especially men and black people, like we don't see the importance of talking to someone about how we feel, to share what we're going through and things of that nature. As a result, anxiety comes, depression comes, suicide comes, mental illness can happen. So kind of share with me how you go about tackling those different things and why it's so important to sit down and to talk to somebody.
Part of it for me is, I think it is, for the people that I sit and I talk to, I encourage them to find a way to help other people understand what you're going through. Because a lot of times the stigma is there because we don't talk about it. It's taboo to talk about it. You know, you go to Thanksgiving dinner, you having a cookout at your cousin's house. Nobody want to sit up and talk about, oh girl, I was depressed last night.
Nobody wants to hear
my anxiety really kicking in. You know, nobody wants to hear about that.
And people think they use the word pity party too.
And so a lot of times, if it's just being able to help people understand that, you know, depression looks like so many different things. Anxiety looks like so many different things. And we don't always, it doesn't always be the negative aspect of it. And so a lot of times with media, you know, it's when you watch movies and stuff like that, or something happens, like, oh, this person is schizophrenia, this person is bipolar, and it's usually connected to something that's negative. So who would want to be that? You know, if every time there's a mass shooting, this person is bipolar, then if I get diagnosed with bipolar, why am I going to tell somebody that? Yeah. Because they looking at me like, do you own a gun?
Yeah, I know you do. Oh no.
And that's the farthest from the truth. So especially in our community, I think part of it is just talking about it. Talking about, especially people who are managing it well, to have a conversation and say, you know what? I've dealt with depression, or I deal with depression, and it doesn't always look like sitting in my bed, laying in my bed and not getting up for a week. You know, sometimes depression can look like I'm on my way to work and I'm just saying, Jesus, just help me get through this day.
That was me.
You know,
in 2016, I experienced depression for sure. I knew what it was, and it wasn't because anyone had did anything to me. It was because I was just contemplating where I was in life. Like I had just graduated. And I just felt like, and I know, and I'm pretty sure that graduate students have felt like this in the past, but I put a lot of hard work into school. And I just thought that it was going to roll over into life. Like, can my grades help me get a promotion? Like, you know.
But that's what they tell us. That's what they tell us.
We worked so hard in college, and you get back in life, and for me, I felt like I started on level 1 all over again, and that's for a lot of people. But I don't want to say this to sound privileged, but I didn't go to college just to go. You know, if I knew that I was going to go on level 1, it started making me question, why did I even go? Because I went to get ahead. I went to get more experience. I went to learn how to speak and how to get the jobs and things of that nature. But also, and this just came in my spirit, in college, I realized that I was going to own a business, not just work for one. I went to college wanting to work for a business. I went to college wanting to get a good career and things of that nature. And I believe some of my anxiety came from me knowing that I was bigger than what I was doing or was about to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew it was bigger than that. So I literally had to wake up one morning. I woke up sad and I said, I heard something say, and I know this is God now, you either gonna choose me or you gonna choose you. You know what I'm saying? And my Bible was right there. And I just started picking up my Bible. I didn't know everything. I come from a Christian background and things of that nature. But when you're a kid, you hear all that stuff, but it doesn't. It's in you, but it's not really just there. So I had to reconnect to it because I had kind of strayed away from it in college, doing my own thing and things of that nature. But once I started reading it on a more of an adult level, I understood it more, I could comprehend it more, and God started to speak to me more, and it started to change my life. So when I share my story to anyone about depression, I tell people that God was my therapist. He was the reason I didn't go deeper into it, because it can get really, really bad. And I'm just thankful that I heard God speak before it got there. And even to this day, anxiety can still come. I can still have an anxiety attack come out of nowhere. My husband says all the time I'm very one-track minded, and if something comes in between it, I have a problem with that, because I like to know where I'm going. But when those moments happen, I run to God. Like I asked him yesterday, was I getting on his nerves? Because I prayed at least 10 times yesterday. So just share a little bit about like the different techniques that you tell people to cope with or to do to help them with anxiety and depression and things of that nature.
And it really depends on the person. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe Jesus. I believe He died on the cross for my sins.
That's why you're here, because you ain't no Christian.
At first, becoming a therapist, the thing was, we shouldn't take our religion, our beliefs into the room with the client. But honestly, I am who I am. And so I don't take my Jesus off when I walk into a therapy room with somebody. But I don't go into the therapy room with my Bible and say, well, if you just read Psalms 23, you're gonna be all right. Start there. Like, I don't do that either. But so it really depends on that person. So if there's a person who has a strong spiritual background and uses, if somebody tells me, and I ask you, what do you do for coping skills? I say, well, I pray, I talk to Jesus. I help them with, okay, well, when you're praying and when you're talking to Jesus, what does that look like? I help them process that for themselves. Because there's a difference in talking to Jesus and saying, I just want this to be over, versus talking to Jesus and saying, I just want you to help me get through it. Because those are two different things that you're asking for.
That's a whole word right there. A whole word. Because even helping us get through it, if we are a believer, we know that we're going to come out stronger. We're going to come out wiser. We're going to come out way better than we were before we had to go through it. But, us Christians do that a lot.
And sometimes we do. And that's the thing about like anxiety and depression, when we're dealing with any of those symptoms where things are different than what we want them to be in our life. If that person has a strong faith background, then if they bring it up, if they want to talk about their religion or their spirituality in the room, we talk about it. But if it's somebody that does not believe in God, does not want to talk about their spirituality, I respect that, and we don't talk about it. I may say to them, if they ask me things that work for me, and we use, it's the same stuff, but I don't use Jesus. So I just respect where they are. And I've had people who love it. I have people come in and I need you to meet my pastor. You should go. Things like that, because and I tell people, like, I'm not a pastor. I hadn't went to school to be any kind of clergy. I read my Bible. I go to church. When I attend church, and I just learn in everything that I do. And so I try to encourage people.
And I think that's important for everybody. That's what we need to be doing. Whatever we do, it's a lesson that can be learned from it.
And so, and that's how I try to live my life. I live my life of, I'm enjoying what I have going on as I have it going on, and I will just learn the lessons I'm supposed to learn.
See, we're talking like we've known each other for years. Like, we've seen each other about 2 years ago, but we didn't really just get reacquainted until a few months ago. So both Megan and I are mentors for a mentoring organization called Rising Stars for Christ. Girls really ranging from the ages of about 10 to 17 kind of. A little bit more, maybe even less in the age differences and things of that nature. But when we had the kickoff event, you were there, you spoke, you had different sheets that you gave the girls, and it had like 100 things that you could do, different coping skills and things like that. So that's another way to go about it, where it's not literally saying read this, but that's literally worldly coping skills that you can do and things of that nature. And I'm pretty sure the fact that you respected people's decision not to put God in it, or to not even want to hear that word, that God is still working through them because He's working through you. So sometimes, we meet different people where we don't have to say Psalms 23. We can just be who we are in Christ, and it'll show. Like sometimes, well, a lot of times, you don't have to say the word Christian. You don't have to tell someone you're a Christian. Your actions are going to show who you are. You're going to reveal who you are regardless. So God is using you regardless if you use his name or not. And I just, wanted to share that with you. But I said that because we had that event together, the kickoff event, and now we're preparing for another event where we'll be in the same room again. It was meant to be, Megan. We were meant to be friends. So let's talk about that event. The same founder, the founder of Rising Stars for Christ is Miss Orionna McDaniel, and she was sharing with us a few months ago, really, that God had put in her spirit to have something for single moms, just to help them just get on the right track. That's literally what the event is called, helping single moms get on the right track. So I want you to share what you're going to be doing to help single moms at this event.
So part of my purpose there is to be able to support them in terms of the counseling aspect of it. So to be counseling one-on-one. So if there is a single mom out there that's struggling with, self-esteem, struggling with parenting issues, struggling with, depression, anxiety, or sometimes just overwhelmed and being stressed as being a mom. Which is possible.
Like you could be married and be stressed.
Yes. Parenting is stressful. But that's what I'm there for, to be able to help them identify what they have, what they need, and just support them in that way.
Okay, that's amazing. So not only will we have counseling from Miss Megan, we'll also have a lady representing for home buying. She'll talk to you about the home buying process, what you'll have to do to get everything lined up. And I was about to say credit, but we'll also have a lady there representing that. She'll be doing credit analysis. So if you're watching this show and it is Friday, November 1st? Yeah, if it's Friday, November 1st, 2019, this event is Sunday, November 3rd, 2019. And I want you, if you're a single mom or if you are married and you want to know the process of getting a home, or you need someone to speak to, or you need help with your credit, I want you to go ahead and go print out a free credit report. Credit Karma has it, and there's some other websites out there. So when you bring this paper to the event, it's going to be Sunday, November 3rd, 2019 at 3 o'clock at Mitchell's in Brookhaven, Mississippi. So a flyer will be popped. If it's not already on the screen, a flyer is going to show you all of that. And I'm also going to have the details and the status as well for you to know how to get there, know the address and all that good stuff. But yeah, make sure you print out your credit report. Make sure you come with an open heart. If you want to RSVP, I'll have that information with Falana, so you can get in and have a good time. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really exciting event.
I am looking forward to it. I believe someone's going to leave that event thanking God, because I feel like this is something that people have been praying about, and God has a way of answering our prayers way differently than we expect. Every single time. Every single time. And I believe that a lot of prayers will be answered collectively in that one room. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's so amazing that I called you and said, I want you to be on the show. We're going to talk about not being a wimpy Christian, and we're going to talk about this event. But I don't think you even shared with me that you had even stepped out on faith 6 months ago with your practice. I didn't know that until right now. And it's just amazing how God aligns you with the right people to discuss what's going on. And you're literally not being a wimpy Christian right now, because you've confirmed that it was God, and now you're going forth. And what are some things, just to wrap things up, because you are still doing this, the business is still running, and I know that every day isn't easy. I know you have challenging days, and you deal with different people on a daily basis. But what are some things that keep you rooted into what God has told you to do and not revert back to what you want to do?
I think, honestly, I just have this perspective of trouble don't last always. And even if it's a rough day or a rough week or a rough month, people say, well, how's everything going? It's going good. I speak it into existence that it is going good and that it's going to be well. One of the things a quote that I read in a kindergarten planner, it said, what would you do if you knew that you could not fail? Wow. And so what would we do?
What would we do?
If I know that at the end of the day, this business is going to be everything that I want it to be, although today it may not be that.
Oh my God.
And so to me, every day is a good day. The fact that I was able to get up that morning and go to a office that I call my own.
Wow.
Even if nobody showed up that day, it was a good day. Because at that point, I'm doing something that's going to lead to something bigger. And so that's what I instill in my kids, I instill in myself, and just every day I just work towards today, even if it's not good, trouble don't last always.
You have gave me so much. I'm not even a client yet, but I'm going to become one. I'm speaking that into existence. I am speaking that into existence because I need this. Like, this was me for me today. Like, you were just telling me so many different things. Like, a part of me, when someone asks how I'm doing, I used to joke with my friends about how we really don't tell people how we doing. Like, everybody say good.
Yeah.
But I love how you went deeper with that. Like, even if you're not good, go ahead and say you're good because you're speaking into existence.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Maybe like so seriously. Like, I used to be like, I'm just lying to people. I'm just lying to people when they ask me how I'm doing, because sometimes I want to be like, girl, I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm mad. I'm angry. But no, I'm good.
But even if you are frustrated and tired, and it's okay to be in those feelings. And one of the things I say is I have to set a boundary for myself and give myself a limit and say, you know what? I'm gonna take 10 minutes to be mad.
Yeah,
I can be mad for 10 minutes, and then after that,
wallow in it.
I'm gonna have to get up and get it together, because being mad all day, it used to be really hard for me. Like, if something happened and then I would have a bad day, and so I started thinking about it. No, I had a bad 5 minutes, or I had a bad hour. But then after that, I would tell myself, Megan, this does not have to be a bad day, unless you make it a bad day.
All I can think of is wow. Literally. And it's not to brag, it's not to boast, but for me, it is so good. Like, your perspective is what I like above anything. So let's kind of backtrack for those who may not heard that last part of what you were saying. Let's backtrack to that, because you were sharing one of your perspectives on something, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
So typically, my perspective on life is typically I just try to it's okay to be in the moment.
Yes.
To have those feelings, to feel what you feel, but knowing that when you are feeling those feelings, be able to get the support and help that you need, and then be able to move forward.
Yeah.
Because if we stay stuck in the negative feelings, then that's where we stay stuck. And so we have to be able to give ourselves
years in feelings. And it just, because one thing that you said was, when you think about you had a bad day, you re-say it and say, no, I had a bad 5 minutes. One life change, or one person, or one significant thing that wasn't a part of the plan that happened, some people can stay in that forever. And the fact that you really evaluated that, like yesterday, I know what we were saying, maybe 10 minutes ago, I was saying that I was tired and frustrated and things of that nature. Even yesterday I had a rough day, but really only a few hours of my day was rough. The whole 24 hours wasn't rough. I slept good. You know what I'm saying? I woke up on time. Like, so that part was pretty good. But it was a few hours during the day yesterday where I was like, God, get me through it. But when I woke up this morning, I realized that He did get me through it, because I was able to go to sleep and wake up and see another day. So that is amazing, y'all. If y'all don't get nothing else, really start to evaluate how your day is going, and learn how to not sit in those negative emotions, because we all have that. God had told me to take a break from even doing the show, and I believe that a part of that, well, every show has seasons anyway. This is season 2. Every show has seasons anyway, but I believe one of the reasons God wanted me to take a break and prepare for season 2 is because I was staying in my emotions. Like, it was getting to a point where I just wasn't mentally prepared to encourage anyone, because I needed to be encouraged. And I strongly believe that you can't pour from an empty cup. So I needed time to fill myself up, with God's word. Even though I was still reading the Bible and things like that, I just needed to cut off my lit schedule I had for the show and my recurrent cycle, and stop for a moment and make sure I'm still doing what God had called me to do. And I believe we all have those moments where we have to pause and be like, okay, is this me or is it God? And like, what have you done when you had to pause and look back on those moments to determine if it's you or if it's God? And do you even still have those moments today, even as a business owner?
I do. I have to reset all the time. And sometimes, and the thing about it is sometimes my reset happens, weekly. Sometimes every week I have to look at this and say, is this what it's supposed to look like?
So that makes me realize that it's okay to reset.
It's okay to reset. And I feel like it's okay to reset. Because the thing is, sometimes we are in stuff that we honestly have no control over.
Yeah.
And so if I'm standing outside of this house or, a building, and I'm trying to push it over just because I want it pushed over, but that brick building's not going to move.
Wow.
I can't control that. So in that moment, I have to learn to reset and figure out what is it that I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Wow.
Am I supposed to just be taking a break and, taking a nap outside this building while I'm trying to move it? And sometimes it takes that because, like, emotions, we can work ourselves out of emotions, but sometimes, especially the people that I talk to in therapy, they're dealing with real life issues or situations that they can't just wish away. They can't just pray them away. Yeah. Like, it's not gonna just go away today. And so in that moment, while we're in that season, while we're waiting for this thing to happen or this thing to work itself out, what are we doing? And I always tell people, like, we use coping skills and coping mechanisms every day. Yeah. But a lot of times, some of the stuff we're coping with, but it's negative coping. Yeah. It causes us negative consequences on the other side. And so, what are the things that we can do to put in place that we are doing stuff that is intentional?
That'll help
intentionally.
Us in the future.
That'll help you in the future.
Yeah, some of us are just living for that. They living by the quote, "You only live once." Let's go crazy in this present moment. But that one decision that you made in that present moment affects your future forever. Yeah. And what I'm getting from you is we need to make decisions right now in our present to help us prepare for the future, but not damage it. Yeah. So that is so good.
But the thing about that is, because we only live once. Yeah. But if we live once and our focus is on God and what He wants for our life, in that moment, in that once that we're living, nothing's gonna happen that's gonna damage our future so bad. Because if we're focused on the right thing right now, because we don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. So it's kind of like, I always have the conversation with people of how do you live your day like there's no tomorrow, but then plan for the future at the same time. Yeah. And the answer is you focus on God. You do. Because if you focus on God and say, okay, well, God, just let me enjoy the day for what the day is supposed to be for me. Then tomorrow, hey, God, let me enjoy today for what today is supposed to be for me. And if we do that every day, we get the rare opportunity to live like there is no tomorrow. Wow. But also, the things that's going to happen in those days, He's going to prepare us for what we need down the road. Wow.
When I think about people who are living in the moment, I think about children.
Yeah.
I think about my son who's 1 now. Yeah. Like, he's a whole year old. And the way he just focuses on whatever he's trying to focus on, crawl to wherever he's trying to go. If he want his mama in the moment, he want his mama. If he want his daddy, he want his daddy, or whatever. And like at the end of the day, there's still a smile on his face. No matter what kind of day he had. Like he could have been crying just 30 minutes ago. At the end of the day, he still got a smile on his face. I feel like one of the reasons God blessed me with him is to remind me of it. Yeah. Like to live in the moment. Because children, you don't have to tell them to live their best life. They're going to live it no matter what. Ko don't wake up wondering about how many Pampers I got or if I got food to feed him or clothes to clothe him. He trusts me enough to know that God has provided. And even though God ain't even in his mind like that yet, it's just something that God has blessed children with that they really just don't, until they get to a certain age, they really just don't worry. They live free. Yeah. And I look at him and say, I need to be a little bit more like my son. Yeah. In a sense. Like, I'm mature and I'm aware of life. I have different things. I know what to do and what not to do. But as far as living in that moment, I got the best example living on the moment.
And he's able to do that because he, without a shadow of a doubt, he knows that Mama and Dad are going to make sure that it's okay. Yeah. And that's the same type of relationship that we have to get with whoever we believe in.
Yeah.
To know that it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And so especially when it comes to stuff like my business, and you know, business, every day hasn't been a good day. Yeah. As a small business owner in Brookhaven, Mississippi,
I can
we
say
know
that
that.
Too. We both can relate to it.
But I say that, you know, I know that it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. You know, this may be my battle, and my battle may last for 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that what my end goal is supposed to be is not gonna happen.
Wow.
And so that's what I focus on.
That's amazing. Megan, I have truly enjoyed this whole conversation. Just so many nuggets and words of encouragement you giving me, and I know she's giving y'all too. I know y'all got something from it. If it was just one thing, it's gonna change your life. So if you all, like I said, today is November. Happy November. Today is the start of season 2 of Storytime, and we will be back in the same room this Sunday, November 3rd at Mitchell's in Brookhaven, Mississippi for 3 p.m. So if you love what you've heard from Megan and you need some encouragement, you need to become a client or even just meet her in person, because I feel like we had a session, it was just recorded. That's just how I feel personally. But if you just want to meet her like I did or have a conversation with her like I'm doing, come see us. The event is targeted for single moms, but anyone, any female who's having that needs some assistance with their credit or home buying or counseling, come see us Sunday and let us fill up this room with the joy that's in this room right now. I feel amazing. So one of the things that I want to make sure I do with every show is pray. So do you want to pray or you want me to pray, and that's how we're going to close it?
You can pray.
All right. Lord, I just thank you for this time with Miss Megan today. Thank you for just sending her to give me words of encouragement. And not just me, Lord, but for everyone watching this show, Lord. I pray that they heard something that's going to ignite something in their heart to change something about how they're going, or to keep encouraging them to go in the right direction that you've already sent them in, Lord. Lord, I pray that as we do this series, that we are not wimpy Christians. That when you speak to us, we step out boldly and we act the way you tell us to act. We trust that you're going to reveal the steps in the order you want to reveal them. And while we're waiting, Lord, I just ask for you to help us still, like Megan say, live in the moment and know that above everything, everything's going to be okay. Lord, I pray for everyone listening to this broadcast. I pray for our families. I pray for the success of both of our businesses of being small business owners in the Brookhaven, Mississippi. And I just know, without a shadow of doubt, especially from this conversation, that everything's going to work out for your good. We love you, Lord. We thank you for this moment. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Oh my God. Thank y'all so much for watching Storytime. I can't wait to be back with y'all next week for another episode of Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. Y'all have a great day.
Stop, I don't get enough. I wake up with a grind every time. And I'm gon' grind. Every time.